This tutorial is just basically going to be kind of spooky look, spooky makeup, heavily contoured and really dramatic eyes. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to check the link below to my blog post that will tell you where you can buy everything, links to everything, and more photos, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here is the tutorial. I'm going to use my Infallible by L'Oreal because it's the palest foundation that I have. I'm not normally a big fan of this because I don't generally like the way that it applies, but I will like the way that it applies more than I like the kind of pale face paint type foundations. So I'm going to put this on and hopefully it'll give me a little bit more of an ashy tone. Okay, then I'm going to use my Lasting Perfection, which you can't see because as everyone says, the writing rubs off, concealer from Collection 2000, and this is in Fair, and I'm just kind of going to go under my eyes and obviously any blemishes, etc. It's a regular foundation routine. I'm just trying to make it a little bit paler than normal. I'm going to set that with a powder. I'm using the Miracle Matte from 17, and the shade that I have is, I don't know, Ivory Porcelain. There it is. I like to normally get the translucent, but I don't think they had one when I went to get this one. Okay, for contour, I'm actually going to use a Benefit product, which I know is not budget or affordable particularly, but it's the only thing that I have that I think will work for this because I don't have an awful lot of drugstore matte colours, and this is what I generally tend to use around Halloween time. I don't generally use it an awful lot throughout the year, but I find that Bossy is a really good shade for that kind of spooky, particularly deep contour. And I'm going to use this brush, which is more kind of a blending brush, and I'm going to use that down the sides of my nose, and I'm going to use this brush, which is kind of a contour tapered blending brush, on my cheeks and stuff. So first of all, I'll do my cheeks. And remember, this is not just your regular contour, you can go like as dramatic as you want and as crazy as you want, really. Okay, so that's my cheeks done, and I'm going to do down my nose. I'm going to start with my nostrils because they are the largest part, and that's why I want the bulk of the shadow to go on to kind of thin down, but I also want to go up onto my brow to kind of create that big arch. Okay, for a highlight, which I am still going to use, I'm going to use this from e.l.f. and it's in Glow. It's one of the only cheap products that I've actually ever bought from e.l.f. that I really liked, because I didn't find that the blushes were pigmented enough, but this is in the blush section. It's from the Studio line, so I think they're $3.50 each. And I'm going to fill in this section just here. I'm not sure if that's picking up on camera, but it's like a serious golden glow just there. It just kind of defines the contour that much more, I think. And it's one of those times that you can really go overboard on everything. I'm going to use an eyebrow kit from MUA, I believe. No, it's not. It's from Fashionista. It's this one. And I'm going to use this lightest brown shade here. I'm going to use a tiny little angled brush from Sigma, and I'm going to try to make my brows quite pronounced and kind of pointed. That shade is actually a lot darker than it looks. Okay, so that was kind of what I was looking for. Really angled, quite thin, sharp brows. Okay, I'm actually going to go in underneath just with the darker brown. And I'm going to create kind of a very harsh line as the plan. Again, the primer that I have, unfortunately, isn't from the drugstore, but I don't have a drugstore primer, so I'm going to use the Primer Potion from Urban Decay, and it's the matte version that I have. It's actually the one I prefer. I don't like the shimmery one. The original is okay. I'd probably get that or the matte one, but the matte one is definitely my favourite. What I'm going to use for my eyeshadow is actually this quad from e.l.f., and I think it's called Tantalising Taupe. And I'm going to go straight in with this very dark colour, which is supposed to be the liner. It's an almost matte, very, very deep brown. And it's really, really impressive given that it's very cheap. And although it's not from the drugstore, it is kind of a budget product. So I'm going to use that first of all, and I'm going to kind of go in straight into the corners so that I get the most impact. I'm not going over any other shades. And I'm going to kind of do my outline that I'm going to fill in later. As you can see, I've gone quite far up. As my eyes are quite hooded, I find this is the only way that I can do a really dramatic kind of Halloween-y eye. I wouldn't do this kind of on a normal evening out, but I find that the way that I kind of draw it out is the only way that it works for me because my eyes are ever so slightly hooded. And this is actually lower than this one, so I do also find that it takes me a while to kind of even them both up. So that's why I do it this way. Okay, so I have my shape, and I'm going to go back to that blending brush that I had earlier just to kind of soften that on the edges. Okay, so we blend that out a little bit, and we're going to go back into this palette, and I'm going to use this base colour, this very, very pale base that I would more consider a highlight, I suppose. And I'm going to fill in my lid. I'm going to go back to a 2 True eyeliner as in my previous tutorial, but I'm actually going to use a black one. Just as I mentioned, they're kind of underused in my collection, and I'm going to go underneath my eyes. I'm going to attempt to actually show you the underneath of my eyes, as opposed to in the last one where, as I was editing, I was like, oh, you can't see anything. Okay, so that's my under eyes done, and I think I'm going to go in with glitter on top actually. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I think I'm going to use the Dig It, the Collection 2000 glitter liner, and I'm going to use that on top. So that's pretty much my eyes done. I'm just going to put on a little bit of mascara. I'm kind of undecided as to whether or not to go for a really super pale lip or like a kind of deep vampy one, but I think I'm going to go for the vampy lip because I have something that I really like I want to use, and it's the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Lip Stain in Crush, and I really like this because I know it's going to stay on, so since they'll be eating and drinking, I think I'm going to use this one. Okay, so that's pretty much my look done. It kind of reminds me of a Lady Gaga tutorial I once did that I really liked. The only difference rather is going to be that I'm going to put in a hairpiece now. So here it is. I'm going to have long wavy hair for the evening because when I bought this and completely loved it, I thought I was going to wear it all the time, and then I discovered it actually looked quite fake, and it was really, really shiny because obviously it's not real hair. Well, not obviously, but it isn't real hair. And so I decided that I wasn't going to wear it out, and so Halloween seemed like one of the only opportunities I would get to wear it because I really like what it looks like, and it does look pretty natural, bearing in mind it was only about £15, but yeah, it's not natural enough for me to actually wear it out as I'd originally intended. Now the general idea is that you then pull your hair back and kind of clip it to hide this little section of it, but what I'm going to do is wear a headband, just because then I don't have to worry about it, and it's potentially going to be a long party. So I'm going to wear it like that, so you can see the front of my hair, but you can't see where the hairpiece begins. So that is my look. It's kind of a spooky something, but I'm just going to call it just going to call it spooky makeup, I think, but I will add some pictures at the end and potentially some video of me looking spooky at the party, because this is actually what I'm going to wear. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please go subscribe and check out my other Halloween videos that I'll link below. Many of them are kind of older videos because I don't like to repeat them every year, but I didn't actually think I'd get around to doing any Halloween tutorials, so I'm really pleased with the ones that I have. And hopefully the lighting is now solved, and I'm really, really pleased to now have it because this is now low lighting conditions. It's 5:15. I normally wouldn't be able to be filming this right now, so fingers crossed this means lots more videos coming your way. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!